Hi, welcome. On this video I'd like to talk about the down position, how I use it, and how it how it aligns with relational change. Basically, the down position is a very submissive position to put a dog into. The context of relationally of how to do that to a interaction. The goal is for it to have to create change. And keeping that in mind, that's why I won't just say the word down. When the dog's holding power and we're looking at changing the core of the relationship, what I do, that's why I start right off with, I won't even touch doing the down position for probably about 2 weeks during the role changing process. I won't do it until the dog is ready to accept that position, through the context of the follower role. And when I say the context of the follower role, it's how that interaction is happening that matters. Okay, everything follows everything funnels through the follower script. Everything is defined within that. So that's why, when you look at, say, learning, these ideas of learning and teaching dogs, I'm not using commands. I'm just working off this relational connection, knowing dogs know the intent. So therefore, keeping that in mind, when you're doing the doing the down the way I do it, you want to do it in conjunction with the sit position, okay, through the push-pull technique. So basically what's happening, what you're doing is you're collapsing the mind. It's just like, look at the mind as having kind of like 4 walls, and when you're doing the push-pull technique through the sit position, the walls of the dog's mind, okay, starting to collapse. Okay, the dog is starting, and the collapsing of the mind is, you'll see these follower moments take hold. That's when you see the dog's head turn in towards you for a second or two, and the dog's starting to really calm out, start to go into a follower state of mind. And then what you'll do as role change starts taking hold, you'll continue to push. Okay, so basically what you're doing is you're doing the push-pull method, okay, opposite position. So you're doing the pushing and pulling, dog's head will turn in, and my hand, say if the dog's on my left side, my left hand will be up on the top of the shoulders. I'll just keep pushing. Okay, I'll keep pushing. Now, but understand, when you do this technique, I will work it in off of, say, if I'm doing the working in the down position, I'll work it in off of the circle method. So the circle method, okay, within that circle method you're doing multiple sits with the push-pull technique. Okay, so what I'll do is, after, say, about the 3rd sit, okay, when things are going really well, okay, I got really good moments happening, after the 3rd or 4th sit, then I'll continue to push to put the dog into the down, because usually what happens is the mind is collapsing. I'm going to push, and the dog's going to accept it. Now, when I talk about the down position, understand it's not a win situation where I'm on some sort of an ego trip. Okay, try not to get too caught up in this. Understand what we're doing here. It's about relational change. So, and the other thing is, the physical, the body isn't what is creating it. You're not trying to override everything using physical strength. You're not trying to win on your physical power alone. Okay, this is about connection. This is mind and body. So mind and body are together. So my book, you'll see 2 trains going side by side down the railroad tracks. So here in this scenario, the physical force isn't ahead of the mind. Okay, the dog's in your head, so to speak. So what we're doing is, relationally, we're building off our personality. So if I just try to squash a dog like a bug, okay, it isn't going to work. I mean, I could get bitten. I'm trying to use my physical force, and likely I'm moving too fast on this. This is about everything kind of, all the pieces fall into place relationally as we go. That's why we fit the down position. We do it after a period of time. Once we've created a good level of relational change. After we've created role change, then we're ready to do the down, and we'll continue to push without saying commands a dog like is going to start to that. We're basically going to be right there. The dog is going to accept it. Now again, but when you push it down, it's about collapsing the mind. So it's like you're just pushing steady. So it's like just continue to push. Now understand, dogs are really connected. So when you start pushing, even before you start pushing, even within that transition, as you're doing the push-pull technique, and you just start to continue to push through connection, that dog feels that. It actually, before you even bring the full force, even though this is about proper alignment, so we're not trying to, just use physical strength fully. The dog feels the build-up up here. You understand? The dog knows the intent. The dog senses. This is how this happens. Through this connection, the dog will feel that increase in the mind more than the physical. Okay, so what happens is the dog actually knows what you want before the physical fully engages. Okay, it's like jump starting it. The dog knows it. That's why you'll see dogs react strongly or get high challenge if they aren't ready for it before you even fully engage a dog, because they feel that it's like a spark that's igniting before the gasoline goes on fire. The dog senses that spark starting to take hold. Okay, so understand, as you do this technique, you'll get a sense as you do this, the dog starting to accept it. Okay, so this isn't a technique that you want to rush. Now the other issue is, as you start pushing, and you're doing it right, the dog really holds in tight. Okay, and you feel that, okay, I ain't going to be able to do it. Just move forward. Don't try to slam the dog down using physical force. Just disengage, move forward. But the disengaging part, understand, control your mind. You don't want the dog to get a sense as though you failed. Okay, the dog will sense weakness. So it's really important to control your mind, to discipline your mind, that you could not have done it, but every time you move into it, you should always move in the technique up here. The dog senses as though you're going to win. Okay, because there will be a moment where you are just going to keep pushing. Okay, there are some breakthrough moments where you just don't want to remain in a stalemate. Okay, this is about collapsing the mind. So understand, there is a point that you kind of pick up on sense. Well, you'll know. Okay, I just know that I don't want to get bitten or put the dog into a high challenge. Stay here. But you'll sense, just keep working. What you're going to do is you're just going to keep intensifying, working the sits. Because the other thing that happens too, as you gain power in your mind, even working through the sits as the days go by, you become more powerful up through here. Relationally, the dog feels more pressure coming because you're changing, because the holes are closing in your psychology. So everything leads into the acceptance of the down. So don't be discouraged as you start to bring the down position in alignment. You start to bring that online, so to speak, as another tool in your toolbox to help create relational change. But at the same time, everything will line up. Just understand, all the power starts to develop. Okay, so change is happening. So because you're not the same person you are today as you will be tomorrow, and so just the fact your thinking is changing, your leadership qualities are changing. That's what's creating change. The pushing and the physical, how you physically engage the dog. That's important, but understand, dogs really are they're relational beings. Okay, they're living creatures, and they share this connection. So they sense the main thing is your genetic code is changing, so to speak. It's just like electricity in the air. That's what's creating change. So everything will come out through the technique as you're changing. So again, the down position is something you want to add on, and then sporadic, randomly, I'll add it on. It helps to create a relational shifting even at a higher level. Okay, so when you use the down, even when you put the dog into the down, once the dog is in the down, if they're rolling to the side of trying to, you want to engage the leash, the short leash, to help to communicate. And what you're doing is you want the dog to be in the prone position. So what they'll do is just engage the leash a little bit, and they'll come up and then push again. So there's ways to communicate even when the dog's down. If the dog's shifting to the side, that's a challenge. Okay, so if you see these challenge states take hold, understand there's more work to do. So it's just about tightening it up. It's about communicating how you use the leash technique. You want the dog in a full prone position. You don't want to engage and allow the dog to go into a challenge. You want to engage the dog at certain levels here, but just like fine tuning. So as you do it, understand the journey. So the down position, again, something very effective, something you want to work on. Want to make it part of your tool chest. And the other thing is, never be afraid to use a muzzle. Okay, if your dog's holding a large amount of power and you start to engage the dog, you don't want to get bitten. The other thing is that's why you don't want to do the down technique too, off just going over onto a dog and trying to put that type of authority onto a dog just from a cold cell type of thing. Especially if there's no relational change or the dog isn't there yet, you will get bit. Okay, this is something you're adding on as you go, because then once you create that, then from a distance, all I have to say is down, the dog's going to down. The dog's going to go right down, because once we create that relational shifting and the commands do come online, after we've created a good level of roll change, then I'll say the word down, but as I'm pushing. Okay, that's where the commands come online. Then after I say down, the dog just will go down. Then I'll know for sure it's coming, funneling, coming directly through the right roll. I know that I built that foundation. So the whole goal here is to build a foundation relationally through how we do it, this interaction, no commands, but it all aligns the right way. So anyway, think about the down technique. Don't apply it. Wait for a couple weeks in. Start to think about it. Start to do it. Think about everything I'm saying here. Take some notes or whatever you have to do. Read my books. But if something comes online, but usually I'll incorporate within the circle method. Okay, the circle method is like a highly focused type of engagement. Okay, it's highly focused psychological exercise, and then I'll work it into that type of methodology. I'll work it into the circle walk. I add it on after, say, the 4th or 5th good sit. But make sure you have a good sit. Make sure the dog's mind doesn't separate at any level. Make sure you have a good, you know it. You feel the dog's mind starting to break down, then you'll add that on. But you'll know. You'll instinctively know that the dog's ready for that to be added on. So, hopefully this video is informative, and have a good day.